The 2026 Formula One grid could be turned completely upside down. From rookies making waves to world champions eyeing the exit door, the sport is bracing for one of the most chaotic and unpredictable driver markets we've seen in years. This isn't just a silly season, it's a seismic shift. Let's dive into the wild web of rumors, inside sources, and strategic moves that could reshape F1 from the ground up. Let's start where the most smoke is: Sergio Perez. The longtime Red Bull driver has long been rumored to be on the chopping block, especially as his performances continue to lag behind Verstappen. But now, he might just be the centerpiece of Cadillac's 2026 debut. Sources close to the paddock say Perez is expected to attend the Miami Grand Prix, where Cadillac, under the Andretti banner, is set to host a high-profile Saturday event. Some insiders believe it could double as an announcement ceremony. Cadillac knows they need more than just a name. They need a presence. Someone with experience, global marketability, and enough sponsorship backing to secure long-term momentum. Checo checks every box. Mario Andretti isn't hiding his interest. In a recent interview, he said there aren't many experienced drivers with licensing already in place, and Perez is clearly on the list. Behind the scenes, it's believed Cadillac has been negotiating a multi-year deal with Perez that would position him not just as a driver, but as a foundational figure in launching the team's global footprint, especially in Latin America and North America. The second Cadillac seat is where things get even more interesting. The team has reportedly been in talks with Guanyu Zhou, who stepped away briefly from the grid, but remains highly rated for his technical feedback and marketing reach, especially in China. Zhou has worked closely with Ferrari engines during his career, aligning perfectly with Cadillac's early engine plans. But Zhou's not alone. Valtteri Bottas is also in the mix. After a rocky stint with Alfa Romeo/Sauber, Bottas has hinted at wanting one more solid chapter in his F1 career. With 10 wins and experience in high-pressure environments, he'd offer Cadillac a level-headed development driver, key for a brand-new team still ironing out its systems. Even more surprisingly, there's a rumor floating around that Cadillac has reached out to retired drivers about one-off tests, fueling speculation about a potential comeback bid from a former star. Now we get to the storyline that could blow the entire grid apart: Max Verstappen's future. Red Bull may have given Max the machinery to win 4 world titles, but behind the scenes, tensions are growing. From political chaos in the team's management to questions about long-term competitiveness, Verstappen is reportedly exploring his options. The big twist? There's a performance clause in his contract, one that reportedly allows him to exit if Red Bull isn't delivering. Initially believed to be a not in the top 3 clause, some now say it's a top 2 requirement. If Red Bull falls behind McLaren and Mercedes, or even Aston Martin, Verstappen could legally walk away at the end of 2025. And there's already a tempting offer on the table. Aston Martin, backed by Honda, and eyeing a long-term technical partnership with Adrian Newey, has reportedly offered Verstappen $300 million over 3 years. Add in their state-of-the-art facilities and long-term ambition, and the Silverstone-based team suddenly looks like a very real threat to Red Bull's grip on Max. And then there's Toto Wolff. Toto missed out on Max once, and it's haunted him ever since. He famously tried to sign Verstappen in his junior days, but lost out to Red Bull. If Max becomes available again, Wolff won't hesitate. The question is, who makes way? With rising star Kimi Antonelli locked in as Mercedes' future, there's only one seat left, and that puts George Russell in a dangerous position. Russell has done well, sometimes brilliantly, but if Wolff has the chance to pair Antonelli with Verstappen, it may be too good to pass up. Multiple reports say Russell has already had informal talks with Red Bull as a contingency. He's staying calm in public, insisting contract talks will resume after the European races. But we've heard this before. Ask Lewis Hamilton how quickly loyalty can vanish. Red Bull may lose a champion, but they've got Arvid Lindblad waiting in the wings. The 17-year-old Brit has been tearing it up in F2. His sprint race win in Jeddah made him the youngest winner in the series history. And Helmut Marko is already talking like he's the next big thing, calling him our next world champion. That's bad news for Liam Lawson, who's struggled to impress since his debut. While talented, he hasn't matched expectations. Meanwhile, Isaac Hadjar is on the rise. He's scored points twice already and shown flashes of brilliance despite being unfamiliar with many circuits. Marko recently said that from his point of view, Hadjar is the revelation of the season. Calm, fast, consistent. That's rare in a rookie. One of these three, Lindblad, Lawson, Hadjar, won't make it. The question is, who blinks first? Don't sleep on Oliver Bearman. The Haas rookie and Ferrari Jr. is being groomed for bigger things, and if Hamilton's adaptation doesn't improve, Bearman could be wearing red sooner than expected. Hamilton has publicly admitted he's struggling with the car and setup, and the gap between him and Charles Leclerc is growing wider each race. If that trend continues into 2026, Ferrari might be forced to hit the reset button. Bearman, with his composed racecraft and ties to Maranello, would be first in line. Not all potential transfers are rookies. Valtteri Bottas is quietly back in the silly season spotlight. Cadillac is reportedly considering Bottas as another veteran option, someone who brings race-winning pedigree and technical knowledge. Since leaving Mercedes, Bottas has gained valuable experience working with Ferrari engines at Alfa Romeo/Sauber, which would be invaluable during Cadillac's early development years. Bottas has admitted his Sauber stint wasn't ideal, calling it a tough chapter. But with the right setup, he could be a stabilizing force for a new team. Here's where things stand as of today. Perez to Cadillac could be announced in Miami. Joe or Bottas could join him as a second driver. Verstappen's contract has an exit clause that might be triggered if Red Bull falters. Aston Martin has a $300 million offer on the table. Mercedes is eyeing Verstappen, with Russell possibly making way. Lindblad, Lawson, and Hadjar are fighting for Red Bull's future. Bearman is quietly shadowing Hamilton. And Bottas might anchor Cadillac with one last big chapter in his career. We're witnessing the start of a new F1 era. With regulation changes, new manufacturers, and a fresh generation of talent, the sport is pivoting hard. By 2026, we could see Cadillac versus Mercedes versus Aston Martin versus Red Bull in a completely restructured championship battle. And at the center of it all, the drivers, the contracts, the pressure, the chaos. Buckle up. Silly season is just getting started. Which move do you think is most likely? Who's bluffing and who's already packed their bags? Drop your predictions in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss the next twist. The next episode, we're breaking down exactly how Verstappen's $300 million Aston deal could reshape the title fight.